How's it going, guys, and welcome to the Weed Mine. It's been a while since I did an update, but I've been kind of just running steady this whole time. But finally I took the time to do some final tweaking on some of these rigs, and I have to say I was really surprised by the results. All right, now after I converted everything over to Hive OS, I still clocked these in the typical fashion, right? Which is basically you underclock the core, you overclock the memory, and you tweak the power however it is that you need. And, you know, when I had all of these running on Windows machines, which they were at one point, I never gave it much thought. I really didn't. And then I started thinking, okay, well, a lot of people out there, well, a growing number of people, they're starting to use locked cores, locked GPU cores. And I'm sitting here thinking, it's like, well, there's got to be something to that. So when I initially looked into it, and this is still a learning process. I've been doing it for a little while now. It's still a learning process. I thought that having a locked core took a good bit of effort, and what it would do is kind of just stabilize the card a little bit, right? I mean, and I had all these cards running pretty stable for the most part. Every once in a while, it's gotten to the point where I'd have to come down here and once every 2, maybe once every 3 days, have to reboot one of these rigs. And it's usually this guy down here for some reason. It gives no indication or anything. It's just like, yeah, we're done. Yeah, come reboot me. And then I got to go do it. No indication, warning whatsoever. I don't know. I'm sure there's something I could tweak, but we'll figure that out. Maybe by doing the locked cores, we finally stabilize it, because I just got done with that a little earlier today. Now, originally, like I said, I always thought that doing the locked GPU cores would make them a slightly more stable. And that was pretty much it. And since all my cards were basically running stable, I didn't really want to mess with it. I wanted to keep them mining, keep getting that ETH as long as we can, because we need that money. We need the money, especially considering something stupid I bought, which I'll mention in a bit here. Anyways, it turns out I was very wrong on this, and I can't actually find any mention of this online anywhere. Okay, using a locked GPU core doesn't just improve stability. It doesn't. It will actually reduce the voltage. Okay, well, not the voltage, but the amount of power in terms of watts that they consume, and it will actually help increase the hash rate a tiny little bit. And I'm sitting here scratching my head. It's like, why does nobody say this? Why does nobody say this? Okay, here's the deal. On my primary 7 rigs, which is this guy, these 3, and those 3 here, I was able to do that. LHR cards are weird. Okay, I tried to mess with these, do locked cores and all this other stuff, and on Ethereum, because the LHR thing kicks in, they act weird. I'll work on those a little bit more, but for the non-LHR cards, it was great. Okay, I got done doing all these. Okay, I'm pretty sure I got them someplace stable, except for this guy. This guy there's one stupid Zotac card. Don't buy Zotac. I hate Zotac. Zotac, I hope your business goes under. Like, sincerely. Unless you send me free stuff, then you're the greatest. But anyways, no. Yes, I can be bought. I don't care. Anyways, there's one of the card in here that is just plain jank, and it doesn't matter what I do. I keep trying to clock it up a little bit. And it's literally running at half the memory clock that the other cards are because it's stupid. But anyways, I think I got that taken care of. We'll see. I need to let it run for a few more hours just to be a little more assured of myself. Yeah, whatever. It's Zotac. If you own anything Zotac, be assured of nothing. Like this Zotac 3090, that thing sucks. Oh, that's the one and only video card I truly reprehend. I truly hate myself for buying that. Okay, all the other Zotac cards I can manage, even with their flaws, but that one is garbage. Oh, that's a 3090 too. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said that. I get mad when I talk about that. Anyways, I think I'm off the track again. Okay, so what ended up happening is all 7 of these rigs, I sat there for hours and hours and hours trying to figure out the proper locked GPU core to set these at, and then set the power limiter in Hive OS to 0, which is basically just auto, right? And I'm sitting here scratching my head as well, like, wait a minute, you know, if it does that, even with the locked GPU core, ain't the power going to go boop, 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 and my electric bill goes stupid, and I'm like, I get an award from NIPSCO. Yeah, screw them. Anyways, that's not what happened. Okay, first what happens is I found the optimal GPU lock, and with all 7 of these rigs, I went up about 45 to 50 hash total. Okay, well, that's kind of like, you know, what, 2080 Super or something along those lines. That's like adding like a mid-range lower end card or whatever to this farm. It's an extra 50 hash for just tweaking. I am cool with that. But, you know, overall, that's not a huge deal, especially when considering all this stuff. You know, I would get like an extra 0.5 hash or maybe 1 hash or whatever out of some of these. The biggest difference was the power usage. I was surprised, really surprised. I sat here and added it up, and my power usage dropped with those 7 rigs by 426 watts. That's a big difference, especially when mining. If you just sit here and it's like, oh, this little old farm going me, I reduced it by 426 watts because I clicked. That's good stuff. That's going to reduce my bill at least a little bit. So I'm actually really, really happy with that. See, you know, that's probably going to lower my bill, what, $1.50, $2 a day or something like that. Where I have power coming from here, it's expensive, which is why I really want to either move this stuff or find alternative energy. But yeah, this is just like insane. This rig, for example, I believe I have all the cards running at a GPU lock of 1120, which is real common for 3080 non-LHR cards. I believe I have the memory set in Hive OS to either 2600 or 2800 over, and these things, they run beautifully. They run better, they use less electricity, and it worked wonders with the 3090 rig. The 3090 rig, that one was a lot. That was like, I think I reduced it 175 watts. Like, you know, when I first started doing all this, I would go online, research, look at a whole bunch of different things, compare different things, try to find the exact manufacturer, make, model of the card, and go by other people's examples, and eventually I would find something that worked, and I would just go ahead and go with it. And if it ran stable, I would tweak it maybe just a little bit and leave it sit, right? Because Silicon Lottery, like in a 3090 rig, 7 of them run basically identical, but there's one that I have to underclock the memory a little lower because the card runs hot and it just won't run stable. I've replaced the thermal pads 3 times in the damn thing. I'm pretty sure it's this guy right here. But you know, it still runs stable at lower clocks, but regardless, Silicon Lottery lost on that one. But I was just amazed. You know, over 400 watts down. You know, like these guys right here, you know, these probably take about 120, 125 watts a pop, you know. So you got like 500 watts there. It almost makes up for running those. It's great. And if I could actually tweak these because of the motherboards, I'd be even more. Oh man, you know, someone on one of my last videos when I was putting these up mentioned that I should use like different motherboards, different something, so I can tweak the card and be more energy efficient and everything. Thumbs up, I wholeheartedly agree, but I don't want to go spending, you know, 150 bucks on, you know, plus 4 motherboards to do that, because the energy savings plus that cost are not going to be worth it at the moment. Eventually, when I start upgrading other stuff, I'll phase them out, but for now, I'm kind of going to be stuck with them, so it is what it is. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button, guys. I do have the one thing that I mentioned, and my next recent purchase. What was it? 2 more 3090s coming, and they're both MSI Supremexes. Yeah. Those will hopefully be here within a week or so. I wasn't looking to buy them. I wasn't. I'm sitting there shopping around and everything, and I was going online, and I was like, oh, this guy has 2 of them. They're used. Now, if you guys, you know, listen to some of my previous videos, I don't like buying used. But you know, the kind of the reality of the situation, and seeing as prices for GPUs have come down a little bit, I got a really good deal on them. 2 of them, both used, and thankfully, you know, the seller, incredible feedback. This is some kind of like, I guess you could call it advice for if you're trying to buy anything off eBay, especially used video cards. Someone who has an incredibly high amount of feedback. I'm not talking like 100 or 200. I'm talking like tens of thousands. And they have a return policy, and they have a long history. And thankfully, this guy that I'm buying them from does. Because if I get those cards and they're not what they're supposed to be, I'm going to get my money back. But anyways, 2 3090 Supreme X's. Now, what am I going to do with them? Y'all immediately is like, oh, you're going to mine with them, aren't you? Well, yeah. But remember that Supreme X 3080 Ti that's in the home theater PC upstairs that I've been gaming on recently and really enjoying it? Well, it's going to get bumped up to a 3090. It's running on an 8K TV, 8K 60 hertz TV. So I need that. In the rare case for using a 3090, I actually need the extra RAM to push it if I want to put everything at max and run good. Which, surprisingly, I have been playing Vanguard, sadly, and I've been playing that with almost max settings on everything, and it's running like a dream, and I'm actually enjoying it, surprisingly. Well, I'm enjoying the gaming experience, just not the game itself. I'm grinding guns for WarZone, but it'll probably be a moot point. Anyways, 2 3090 Supreme X's are on the way. I'm really curious how well those suckers are going to perform. I'm going to assume a lot like the EVGA for the Win 3 editions. So that seems to be kind of like the thing with the 3080 Ti Supreme X that I have. They run really similar to EVGAs for the Win 3s. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. And you know, I wasn't just motivated by the price. The price was good. The price was really good. Considering the current market. There's the risk with buying used. I know that, and I accept that, and you know, if I have to replace the thermal pads and they work great, so be it. Not very many people outside of my dumb self, I don't think, are mining with Supreme X cards, but I could be wrong. Don't know, because they always commanded a higher price point. So I'm thinking, we don't know what these cards were used for. We don't know if they were used for gaming. We don't know if they were running SLI and something. I mean, it was 2 of them. 3090s can still do SLI. Somebody might have bought 2 of them and been like, hey, I'm going to SLI them, and then realize that's not a good idea anymore. Whatever. So, yeah, I'm really curious when those guys get here how well they're going to perform. And the other reason I was going to say that I bought them is because of the hash rate difficulty on Ethereum. Now, we only got what, like 4 months, you know, close to 5 months, so you know, right around there of Ethereum left to mine. 4 or 5 months, something right in there. So it's not like having these 3090s, I'm not going to be able to pay them off before Ethereum goes bye-bye, right? So I bought them for 2 things. One, to bump my hash rate up on Ethereum currently, because you know, the difficulty's going up, so profits kind of go down, or you get a little less Ethereum. I'm trying to raise my hash rate and everything in a certain proportion to make up for some of the difficulty. So that way the profits are still consistent, keep coming in. Kind of a obscure reason, I guess. But the other reason is 3090s are going to be long-term viable for mining altcoins as well. So the second Ethereum gets turned off, these go on to something else. And what that is, still to be determined. Ergo, Firo, Flux, chances are some of those. I don't have much confidence in Ravencoin. A lot of people out there are like, oh, Ravencoin, this over here, that over there. There's something. Ravencoin is cheap. It's been cheap forever, and I think that's probably how it's going to stay. I don't have much confidence in it. I probably should mine some, just in case, but whatever. All right, guys, I talked my head off a little bit longer than usual. The next update that I do will be when I get those 3090s, when I get them in, and if I happen to figure out how the heck to work that locked core on the LHR cards, because I don't know. I tried and nothing would work, so I'm going to have to do some more research and some more trial and error to see if I can get that to work properly. You look for videos, you look for info, nobody has it. Well, hopefully I can figure it out, and I can be the one to tell everybody. We'll catch you in the next video.